Hi, I'm Jacque Pienaar. I'm a lecturer at the University of Stellenbosch in the Industrial Psychology Department. I think there's a very deep connection between individual behaviors of leaders and organizational culture. I think leaders, what they technically do is they're architects of culture. So they actually shape and can reinforce organizational culture through what they do. So through their actions, through the way that they influence decisions in the organization, through by setting performance standards, by setting norms, by role modeling values, they actually are shifting the culture in any case. So I think these two concepts are deeply related. Leadership is actually, it's an outcome of organizational culture, but it's also one of the enablers or shapers of organizational culture. If you're consistent on all of those areas, it ultimately creates a sense of purpose in an organization, it creates stability, and it creates trust. So if you as a leader consistently focus on engagement, it gives your followers and the employees in the organization a sense of commitment to the organization. If your decision making is stable and consistent, it creates stability and psychological safety in the organization. Employees know what to expect, or your followers. And likewise, if focusing on well-being, you create resilience in employees. And ultimately, if you take all of these practices together, it can transform the organizational experience and make employees just more aligned and motivated to the cause. As I said, once again, I think followers sort of follow what the leaders do in an organization. I think if the leader, him or herself, is just a balanced person from that point of view, if they can role model this idea that there needs to be work, but there also needs to be rest, there needs to be pace. You have to do certain things fast, you have to do certain things slow, depending on the situation. And I think as long as a leader can role model that type of attitude and those type of orientations, then I think that in itself will trickle down to employees. I also think that leaders, and a lot of time leaders are actually chosen or promoted in organizations not because they are good leaders or good managers of people, but because they did well in a specific job. But that doesn't mean they can work with people. And I think a big thing about leadership and wellness is how you treat people in the organization. And so you need to have people skills, and you need to demonstrate that you actually care about the person. It's not only about the work. The main thing from a leader's point of view is they must have behavioral integrity. So what that means is they must do what they say. So if they endorse or talk about certain values that are important, whatever they do, the actions that they take must reflect that, must be aligned with that. And I think followers sort of catch on to that, and you must then be in alignment between the values you have, the actions you take, and you must set the precedent for the change you want to see within the organization yourself. And the good leaders will then get the followers to follow them in that.